Hello guys, it is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over a 35-1 Capture the Flag gameplay on Simplex. It's a pretty decent gameplay, but what I would say is, we have a very strong team on our side. A very strong team. I don't usually play with full teams that often, but today I decided to. And we had some very decent Halo players. One by the name of Bob, and Happy Bob, I think his name is, and one by the name of Crossman. I'll put a link to Happy Bob's YouTube channel in the description. He's a very strong player, and yeah, that's about it. Now, it's a Capture the Flag Simplex gameplay. It's I would boast about it. I would be like, yeah, I got a 35-1. You gotta respect me. But, to be honest, it's the strong players and a very decent spawn trap. I mean, as you see at the beginning, they're kind of pushing towards our flag and being as aggressive as they feel like, but as it goes on, we just kind of start humiliating them to the point it felt a little bit nasty. I don't often feel nasty about destroying players on Halo, but this one just felt a little bit cruel because they were a little bit new, and we kind of dragged it on a little bit more than we should have. It lasted 9 minutes. And I was saying to the flag capturers, yo, we should probably end this soon, maybe, probably end this, no? And then everyone was just like, nah, let's just carry on playing. And it was fun, I managed to get a decent score. And it's nice like this, it's nice to blow off steam every once in a while. Since CSR has dropped, the games I have been getting into are pretty goddamn frustrating, to say the least. I mean, when it started off, I was like, all hail CSR, CSR is the greatest of all time, because the lobbies I was getting into were redonkulously easy. And then as it went on, as the weeks turned to months, months turned to years, years turned to decades, the games have been getting progressively more and more hard. I don't like hard games. It's weird. I feel like it's almost a taboo to say that I don't enjoy hard games, and I feel like I should have to say, but I enjoy winning. And I think I'm just a little bit of a spoiled brat. I think like when I lose the game, I'm just like, Mummy, why did I lose? Mummy, no! And then I just want to get off the game and cry myself to sleep. Whereas when I'm winning, I just feel like. But it's kind of like in the same way you give a spoiled kid one thing and then he wants more. Like, it's like, you can't just give me the Killing Frenzy, now I want the Running Riot. Now that you've given me the Running Riot, now I want the Rampage. And if I don't, I'm still complaining. Kind of like that mentality, not the best one to have. At the same time, it's fun. And I think it pushes me towards getting better gameplays because I don't like settling for smaller scorelines. So I try my hardest. I'm very try-hard in this game. Now, what I think I actually want to base this commentary around, I've just kind of rambled about the gameplay for the beginning, but what I actually wanted to base this about was the idea of past Halo games and comparing it to this one, to my thoughts on the previous Halo games and how that has affected my enjoyment of Halo 4 and what my opinions of Halo 4 compared to those games are. I actually have a lot of Halo experience. I started playing in the Halo Combat Evolved days. My brother bought the old Xbox on release date, so I have played Halo ever since I was a young little tyke. I don't actually know how old I was. I must have been pretty young though, like 7 at least or something like that. I don't know. I played Halo 1. I used to play Halo 1 on LAN. On LAN multiplayer. There was no online back in the day, no Xbox Live until Halo 2 dropped. But I did manage to play a little bit of PC Halo 1, which in some ways was one of my favourite Halo experiences I've ever had. Halo 1 Online was a great game. The maps on Halo 1 were just spectacular. There was no, messing about on Halo 1. There was no gimmicky additions to the game. There was no armor abilities. There was no nothing. It was a very bare bones game. And in some ways that benefited Halo 1, in some ways it hindered it, because it was so bare bones that it could get a little bit repetitive, but at the same time it offered a very fair experience for the most part. It was usually resorted to pistol one-on-one combat, and how good were you with the pistol, how good were you at, with the sniper. Those were the two weapons that were pretty pivotal. Of course the rocket launcher was. The rocket launcher has always been a bit of a don, but yeah, the shotgun wasn't too impressive. There weren't many power weapons. There wasn't even an energy sword back in those days. So it was a more bare bones, refined experience. Then Halo 2 came along, and Halo 2 was pretty goddamn awesome. I didn't get the experience with Halo 2 I wish I could have. I mean, I did play it a lot, but in some ways my memories are fuzzy because I played it when I was so young, and in some ways I think I must have been a terrible player. I used to be more about custom games in the Halo 2 days. I used to be more about Tower of Power. That was one of the names where you had to rush. Okay, so there's the map called, I'm trying to think of the map. It's called Pinnacle on Halo Reach, but it used to be called Ascension on Halo 2. And it was basically a game mode where someone had a turret up top and a bunch of very low shield, slow-moving players tried to rush the tower whilst trying to avoid turret fire. It was essentially a zombies game mode. Infection was actually invented on Halo 2 by the community, not by the Halo developers themselves. It used to be crazy. That stuff used to drive me mental. And to me, multiplayer, I used to be like, why play multiplayer when I can play Tower of Power? Yeah! And then I just realised as I got older and older that I'd missed out on a huge Halo 2 multiplayer experience. Not that I didn't play it, I mean, I did play it. I had relatively decent ranks across the board. But it wasn't my main focus. It was when Halo 3 came along that multiplayer became my main focus, and I managed to get a higher skill of 45. Halo 3, 46 I believe it was actually, in Lone Wolves. Halo 3 as a multiplayer experience was probably my favourite out of all of them, if I had to choose. It's actually close between Halo 3 and Halo 4, and I know to some people that might be like, what? Halo 4 is unbalanced, dude. You can't talk about Halo 4. Halo 4 is not good. Get good, kid. You're a BK. But I honestly think the pacing and the flow and the aesthetics and so much of Halo 4 is just enjoyable. There's this feeling of adrenaline that just courses through your veins as you are playing Halo 4, and this feeling of, I am a massive spaceman and I'm going to get in a battle and this is going to be epic, and they're all charging at me and we're all charging at each other. And I think for the most part the armor abilities were much more finely tuned in this game. The armor abilities, the gun mechanics. I mean, I know the DMR and VR are unbalanced, but they are fixing that, and to be honest, DMR combat is actually pretty entertaining to me. At least 10 times more entertaining than the DMR combat was in Reach. Reach, I will only talk about very briefly because I despised that game. I hated Reach, and I hated how negative I was towards that game, but I tried to be as positive and have as positive an outlook as I physically could towards the game, and I will admit there were good things about that, like the maps. The multiplayer maps were pretty darn good for the most part, maps like Countdown, and stuff like that, but then there was just so much annoying about it. DMR Bloom, the Forge World remakes looked disgusting for the most part, stuff like Ascension, Sanctuary, which were all beautiful, amazing maps in the Halo 2 days, and had a real fine atmosphere. It just felt like everything was sucked out of it. It feels like Monsters Inc. when they put that machine on that red monster and then he got all the colour sucked out of him. Obscure reference, but a very good reference nonetheless, god damn it. So yeah, I don't know, Reach was pretty much at the bottom of my list, and it's really unfortunate because it meant that I missed out on 3 years of Halo, and I did everything I could to enjoy that game. I enjoyed Anniversary severely. Anniversary was a great game, but yeah. Halo 3, loved it. Halo 4, Halo 3, it's kind of hard to compare. Halo 4, I feel like, brings something to the table that Halo 3 might not have even had. And Halo 3 brings a lot to the table that Halo 4 didn't have, in that Halo 3 is more fair. There's less gimmicky mechanics, but some of the gimmicky mechanics pay off in Halo 4 to make the game more exciting than I could have imagined. Hopefully I'll talk about this more and elaborate on my opinions further, but I have been Modest Major. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this commentary. Peace out.